Last week we talked about boundaries in marriage, and a lot of people really enjoyed that. Well, as promised, today we're going to talk about boundaries for Christian singles. Let's get it. Thanks for joining us on That Christian Fam. If growing in the faith is important to you, hit the subscribe button, because over here we encourage, empower, and give you everyday practical Christian advice on real life situations. We drop videos every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, so hit that notification bell while you're at it, because for the first hour, we respond to comments immediately. All right, last week we talked about how in order for you to implement boundaries, you first have to realize the importance of boundaries, right? Well, the same thing applies for Christian singles. I like to think about boxing ropes. Let's look at this clip real quick. Now, this is Mike Tyson versus Jocko back in the mid-80s. Now, look at this dude finna get knocked the heck out. Now, you see how his back hit the ropes right there? Now, he's probably thinking a lot of things. He's probably thinking, man, why did I get into this fight? He's probably thinking, where's my mama? He's probably thinking, man, this dude hits hard. But one thing I can guarantee you he ain't thinking. He's not thinking, man, I wish these ropes wasn't here because I just feel so bound. No, he probably thinking God that he got them ropes, because if he didn't have those ropes, he would be knocked out the ring. See, it's one thing to be getting knocked the heck out. That's already a bad thing. But a bad situation can turn worse when you get knocked the heck out and get knocked out the ring. And that's the same thing with life. In life, bad things happen. We get that. But if you don't set up boundaries, you can allow bad things to become worse things that can ultimately destroy you. So let's look at a couple boundaries. Boundaries in dating. Now, when you date someone or you court someone, you should probably start off by group dating or group courting, whatever you want to call it. Now, I know that sounds cheesy, but listen, it's a safe practice to practice. I'm going to tell you why. Because by group dating, what you do is you alleviate or you eliminate completely the possibility of you falling into temptation. You have more people to hold you accountable. You have more people to have your back. I mean, there's more eyeballs on the situation. So if somebody sees something that's going sideways, they can say, hey, look, pull you to the side. Hey, listen, I don't think you should do this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So they have your best interest at heart. But start off group dating, and that's a good boundary to have. And say you're in a situation where you can't group date, and it's just you and this other person, right? Well, you can start off by having dates in the sunlight. Like, take a nice stroll in the park or something. You know, go do something. Go do something in broad daylight, in public, where you can still spend time with each other, but you know good and well nothing raunchy, nothing crazy is gonna happen, nothing gonna jump off or anything like that. Because remember, as Christians, we should first and foremost have the heart of God in the forefront of our mind and not pleasing ourselves. Boundaries of your homes. Now listen, try to abstain from going over their house or you going over their house. Now listen, if it happens to happen to where, you know, y'all can do some Netflix and chill or something, do it in the daytime. But here's the thing, I want to provide some nuance with Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Like, you can do it in the daytime, and then you can choose a nice movie that you can both enjoy, and it doesn't have to have a lot of sex scenes and stuff in it. And if they do have some sex scenes, because nowadays it's really hard not to find good movies with sex scenes in them, what you can do is you can fast forward those points. I mean, there's ways around it. And I know this seems like a lot, y'all, but here's the thing. I know you fully grown, but this ain't about being fully grown. This is about honoring God with your life. And whether you are married or single or whatever, you're never too grown to not be a child of God. If this is adding any value to your life at all, please smash that like button. Boundaries and titles. Now, you remember when you was a little kid, how you would play house, right? Like, you know, somebody will be the husband, somebody will be the wife, this, that, and the other. And it was really cute. As an adult, not so cute. Don't call him your husband when he ain't your husband. Don't call her your wife when she ain't your wife. Because if you get in the habit of calling them something that they're not, and you keep calling them your spouse, after a while, they're going to want the benefits of being a spouse. Rope that whole section off and reserve it for marriage. Boundaries with porn. And what I mean by boundaries with porn is cut it off. Like, shut it all the way down. If you have a porn addiction, do your best to break free from that addiction as soon as possible. Now, 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 9 talks about how if if you're in a relationship with someone and you just want that person so bad, you burn with lust and you just want them, you have no self-control, it's better for you in that situation to go ahead and get married to them. But that's not the case when it comes to porn, because when it comes to porn, you're not focused on pleasing them, you're focused on pleasing yourself first and foremost, and you also may be thinking about that person in the video. And here's where the problem comes in. A lot of times single people look at marriage as this magic elixir that's just gonna solve all their problems. But what happens with porn is they take that same problem right up in the marriage and they think it's gonna stop, but it don't. It just keeps on happening to the point to where they're no longer able to gratify their spouse because they've wasted themselves on porn. Yeah, it gets real up in here. So if you have a porn addiction, you need to pray for and actually want deliverance. Get some accountability by having somebody of yours download this thing called the Covenant Eyes app. You can find that in the Google Play Store because it's a really nice tool to hold you accountable with your friend. They can see exactly when you looking at something you shouldn't be looking at and hold you accountable. And then thirdly, you might need to seek counseling. Boundaries with physical touch. Now listen, if kissing is going to lead you to sin, then don't kiss. Now, what type of kissing are we talking about? I ain't talking about a kiss on the cheek. I ain't talking about a little peck on the mouth. I'm talking about getting down with the French kiss. Song of Solomon 8:4 says this, and I'm paraphrase. Don't arouse or awaken sex until it's time for sex. Don't do things to get yourself aroused when you know you're not married. Wait for marriage. Don't awaken love too early. Know yourself. If you know you struggle with lust, don't kiss like that. Level with the person you courting and say, you know what? Listen, I like you, but I can't kiss like that because with me, it's going to lead me to a place that I don't want to go to until we married. And if they're really right for you, they're going to respect you in that area and they're going to actually help you in that area until y'all get married. If this sounds impossible, I promise it ain't. This has worked for me and Nikki, and it's worked for several other couples that we know as well. This ain't some fairy tale philosophy. This is something that really works if you want it to work. And here's a bonus. Now, this is more of a red flag. Y'all check out the series I did on red flags for Christian singles. It's a 2-part video series. Y'all check it out when y'all get time. But listen, physical aggression. If they are physically too aggressive, like they always wanting to touch you, they always wanting to grope you, they always wanting to kiss you, and whenever y'all have conflict or if there's any disagreement or argument or whatever, if they always lean on passion instead of patience, that's a red flag. Here's the reason. In life, you're not always going to be able to, you know, kiss things off or you know, have sex and just sex things off, whatever, you know, whatever that means. Y'all know what I'm saying? But like, you're not always going to, that's not going to work in every situation. All right. There's going to be times where you need to really sit down and problem solve and talk about some things. You can't just grab somebody and just kiss them and just go into them and things like that. That is a red flag that they don't know how to handle conflict and that they are more in lust with you than they are in love with you. Thanks for watching. The next video will be a surprise. I hope I helped somebody on the other side of this video. If you're offended, I really don't care. And I got a whole video entitled Why I Don't Care down in the description. Please check out the videos on the screen. This is Jermaine from That Christian Fam, aka The King's Realm, where we shape our worldview around God's reality. I'm out.
Martinelli, leather seats, apple peach, that's me. You don't even need my testimony. I keep cheese like pepperoni. Hey, you boys still fake and phony. I promise, bro, you ain't my homie. PlayStation.